Outsider art is... What is outsider art?
I don't think there's any such thing as outsider art.
Maybe they're artists that are outsiders.
I really don't give much credence to that term outsider art. I don't know.
It's basically art by people who don't really know what to do.
Well, it's pretty much an art where like a lot of artists kind of just go out there. Like a lot of them are self-taught or their own psychological experiences or spiritual experiences, and it's more raw.
It's outstanding.
It's interesting.
It's all, again, a matter of perception.
I've been showing outsider art since I opened the gallery here in Soho, which is almost 19 years ago. The attraction to me for outsider art has been that it comes from a different place than academic art.
Yeah, that's where I started. You see tide coming in.
In Ted's work, there's always like a blending of his hand, of bringing out the face, but he always leaves a part of the natural stone.
We have contact. They're telling me their secrets, and I'm feeling off. Get to the source, to the soul of the rock.
Sometimes he's moved stones by rowboat on the Hudson River. I helped him move a really heavy stone that was right on the river that had fallen out of the wall, and a collector was interested in it, and boy, it was something, just getting it into a boat and bringing it down river and then rolling it up a bankment. But Ted is something as far as knowing how to move things and strong.
One step a day. So that's why they're not even, because I'm not a craftsman, but they usually do. At the beginning, when I bought the place, we used to have terrible hurricanes. Kept washing away my shoreline. And I was upset about it. I decided to build a retaining wall. When I finished the wall, I look at it, it's kind of a look drabby or didn't have appeal. Maybe I dress it up with something. And sure enough, when I still look around, there was still plenty of rocks left. One of them appealed. He wanted to be seen by me. Seems like he had a face in it. There was an eye, nose, half a lip. I took the broken lawnmower blade and I started chipping. Next day I came, I want to make sure that he's still there, though I cemented him anyway. I look at him, he seems like he had a message for me. Well, I need a companion. I feel lonely. That summer I carved about 45 heads. I cemented them right on that wall from one end to the other. Stone have some kind of a message at the start. That rock, when I look at the rock and I keep turning, I think the soul is getting or passing into the rock. How can I start? All those heads, although I consider them as a brothers, part of family, they would be mad at me. It's part of my life now. It's extended family. Well, it's a stone family, but they have a spirit. I'm committed.
We were
Respond as viewers very naturally to that magic. We sense it. We know that something very unusual has taken place.
Because I'm still sitting on these frozen steps while you're still standing on the walk. Your form takes on mythic proportions. Like the heads of Easter Island, you loom against a snow-laden cloud, so that the black snakes of your hair tangle in the naked branches behind you, and then you stand crowned by crows. Is it you reaching up, or are they stretching down? Our words grate on air like rusty hinges on a junkyard gate where we believe there might be treasure. This is our first conversation.
I paint, when I say brute, I'm a brute artist. I'm an outside artist. I'm not untrained. I just have a need to paint. I need to do this, and if I don't, I might not exist. I just happened to be walking down the street one day, and I ran on this book in the rain. And it was a Mother Goose Rhyme book, and everything was wet except these two pages. I never ever saw this thing before in my life, and it was published, I think in 1910, the publication, and I salvaged the pages and I redrew all the images. A few people have asked me if I'm angry when I paint, and the answer is no, because it's really just an expression of I think what everyone might feel at some time or another. The images have to move you somewhere, either happy, sad, angry, lonely, spiritually connected, spiritually disconnected, but my art is not angry. I'm not angry when I'm doing it. As a matter of fact, I'm the happiest that I've ever been when I'm painting. I'm really just happy. I can't not. I paint because I can't stop painting. It's the creative mind seeing outside of the box, like Leonardo da Vinci. It's amazing to me. My goal is to make them into these pieces of artwork that we look back and reflect on and say, wow, it takes my breath away. I want to be free. I start out going like in one direction, of painting my own image, and from that it becomes like freedom isn't free. People that have come to my shows, that have seen some of the messages, that have asked me, like, where does that come from? And then, in turn, get the answer and then say, well, do you believe in Jesus? Why is that the judgment or the focal point if I treat you like a human, and if you're in need, I come and help you? And if you get mugged, I'll identify your attacker. Why after that, do I have to actually subscribe to some faith in order to be okay? It's none of your business. Sometimes I am trying to influence, the polite society. I've always been influenced with artwork with a political scheme or an uplifting scheme. I listened to the first rap artists, the last poets, Gil Scott-Heron. I never heard them use, derogatory terms when talking about their women. But then I listened to 50 Cent and some of the rappers that have the airwaves, that have the radio broadcasts, that have the cell phone ringtones, and it disgusts me. That angers me. There's a large majority have lost their direction and just need to see the stop sign and maybe an alternative route, the detour. You got to walk it like you're talking. That's what makes my artwork beat like this. For the, actually I was trying to, art I believe is revolution. I believe it has a revolutionary quality in it, that changes people's ideas quickly.
This is one of the hot issues that is continuously debated. That is, how much should our knowledge of the biography, of the biographical details, the life story of a particular artist, affect how we think about and respond to the work or not?
Looking for Bob Justin.
Huh?
Looking for Bob Justin.
Look for Bob Justin right there. Right there.
Find this crazy place all right. Hey Jimmy, how you doing today, buddy? When I first come here in the late 80s, I was up front, and they have an antique flea market here on Wednesdays and Sundays. And people kept coming in, sticking their head in the door, and I kept running them off. And I finally said to Mr. Heller, the boss, I said, do me a favor, find me some place that nobody bothers you.
These is what happened next.
Hey, here's one I've been so high I couldn't get the hell out of the house. This was a little doll somebody gave me, and I started wrapping it, and ended up with a monkey on the back. She's another doll. And I dismembered her and put the parts in there. Oh, I found that nail. I lost that nail before and I couldn't find it. Anyhow, so what the hell I do now? All right, people come in and they, I'm an artist, I do this and that, I would love to do this. And my answer to them is, if you would love to do it, then you probably will. And if you're bullshitting, then you probably won't. So my advice to anybody that wants to do it is do it, because you don't know what's on tomorrow. You don't know if you're going to be dead tomorrow or alive or have no hands, or if it's in your gut, it's got to come out, because if you leave it in there, it's like you buried it alive.
We're now seeing curators, collectors, art dealers become very interested in what self-taught artists are doing, and to some degree, the border is dissolving between the two kinds of work, at least in terms of what collectors appreciate.
I started making these pictures with my fingers and oil paint. That's me being born, 1941. My mother broke the nurse's hand because I was a bad kid, I guess. I got that sold at the flea market. Some guy from New York City was an antique dealer. He said, what do you want for that? I said, I want nothing for it. He says, you give me $45. I said, get that. He says, could you explain to me exactly how you did that? I said, why? She said, well, I would like to try that. I said, well, I look like a freaking instructor. There was an old musician, went out to Las Vegas, got up on the stage, and he played his saxophone for an hour and 45 minutes, played every song in his repertoire. He played every song that was ever written by man, and when he got all done, 2 or 3 people in the audience were like, and it stopped. And the next act got up, and it was this old man with a trumpet. He walked outside, he's cleaning the trumpet, wiping it down, taking the spit out of it. He got up and he goes, one note, put the trumpet down, the fucking place went nuts, people jumped out of the stage, they're screaming, throwing shit on the thing, encore, encore, encore. Guy walked off with his trumpet, out through the curtains, and that was the end of it.
How can I stop?
I need to paint.
I gotta make this. I got it.